This is a typical room. I have one door which I'm going to line with Architrave. Following that, we're going to be running the skirting round. So I do it in a very simple way. Architrave always first, and then we'll come away with the skirting board. So I'm using a typical MDF Architrave. This is basically what everyone's using now. A couple of reasons for that. Cost, and also it doesn't shrink. And it comes in pre-primed. So it's a fairly good product, it's quite reliable, and it paints really nicely. Has a couple of drawbacks though. In tradition, when we miter the corner, when we put it up, we generally used to put a pin through the top edge. Now this is about 13 or 14 mil thick, so that won't take a pin very nicely, because if you have any experience of MDF, it just pushes apart, so straight through the fibres, pushes apart. So what I do now to alleviate that is I make my Architraves like a picture frame using a mitre type adhesive. So to enable me to do that, I need all the pieces cut perfectly to start with, which is no problem. So with an Architrave, we used to have, when I first started my apprenticeship, it was no more than 6mm for margin that you leave there. Now that's since changed, because now we tend to use a lot of ball race hinges, and the knuckle of a ball race hinge is a little bit bigger. So even with a 75mm ball race butt hinge, you need to allow a little bit more. Otherwise, when you chop in those butts, it's basically, you screw them back, the knuckle interferes with the edge of the Architrave. And what that happens, you don't really want to cut through that, it's just unsightly. So what we tend to do now is to leave at least 9 or 10mm, which generally is much more comfortable for the knuckle of that ball race butt hinge. And it also, when you put in a latch for your handle, some of the latch plates now are very pronounced, the curve on them as well, so it also suits that. So the simple trick is to mark all of your linings up. So you need to be, in my case, I'm going to be 9mm, which is this much. I know it's that much because I just know. 9mm there, 9mm here on this side, and then 9mm on the top, obviously, here, which is roughly the shoulder of that jam there. The same there. Okay, so the first thing is we mark everything up. So I've got my Architrave, and I'm just going to put a mark here, and a mark here. And that's my mitre marks. And just so when I take it down to the saw, I know where I'm going. Boom. Make sure I've got a nice foot cut here. Put that right down on the floor. Sail it up to our mark here, our 9mm margin. Same again. So, there we go there. On the other side. Put it on the floor. Mark it. Now I know that is all going to fit as a set. So I'm going to take these down, mitre them using a chop saw. You can do it by hand, but with a mitre glue, you need 2 good faces, nice and smooth, bang together. Patience is what you need for this. So how is Architrave fixed? We use a second fix nail run. We use roughly a 32 or a 40mm pin. This Architrave is quite thin, so you don't need any more than a 32. The good thing about these pins is that they don't split it, and they attach it quite nicely. We used to use oval nails, hammer them in and punch them under with a pin punch, but obviously with these tools we don't need to do that anymore. So one piece, I'm going to make sure that stands in there nicely, under that leg there. So we know that's going to fit. I'll set that to one side because I'm going to use some panel adhesive. And the other thing you can do as well, if you're using softwood on softwood, is just run a bead of glue right the way around, behind your margin line obviously. Okay, so offer it in. And that's grabbed now by that panel adhesive. This gives me a bit of time to make sure I'm happy with all my margin. Further, if you're parallel and your head is nice and true like this, so I'm using a pencil round here, and ideally you'd want to nail just slightly closer to the edge, so I'm having a bit of an angle back to the centre of the lining. Middle. And essentially, that is it fixed. I'm going to add another one in the centre, just in between those. And that's it. Now we've done the architrave, it's time to do the skirting board. The architrave generally always comes first because you want to come away from the architrave obviously. We've got a little bit of boxing in here that we're going to go around as well. And we're going to fix the skirting to the boxing so you can lift the whole thing in and out if you're going to service the pipe that's behind it, for example. So the first thing I do is take a measurement of each piece, add a couple of inches on, cut them all down so I've got a pile of pieces so I'm ready to rock. Then I can do all my scribing in the room, and I do all that with a handsaw and a coping saw. So first of all, I'm going to make myself a scribe template, which is something I always do, and it's a 5-minute job, and I'll show you how that's done. So I just slot them where they roughly go. Okay, so what I've done, I've just broken the length up, put all the pieces down, and I've got a spare bit here. The reason I did that is because I didn't supply this material, so I need to act cautiously in case I waste it. So I know this piece is spare, so I'm going to make my template for the scribes out of this now. It involves me putting a mitre on each end, as if it was an internal corner. So here and here. I'll do that on the chop saw, and then I'll actually cut that out as a scribe, and then I'll show you why I do that.
The board is 12mm. Plastic.
Right.
Unless I don't.
So there we have it. What I'm going to do is cut the scribes into that. You'll know what this is.
Coping.
It's a coping saw. There we have a scribing template, and this is the same for any skirting, whether it's OG, Taurus, chamfered, pencil round. So you may be wondering why I'm not just using a mitre on the internal. So let's have a little look at one of the corners of the wall. What you find is the plaster is always a bit curvy at the bottom, like there's jaggedy bits and all the rest of it. The skirting board, like an architrave, is simply a trim which takes your wall junction to your floor junction. And so it's designed to cover up that sort of gap and all the rest of it. And they don't often lay dead plumb or flat. So the reason why we do a scribe is because it's much more forgiving for the painter and everything else. And if you've got a mitre, it can sometimes open. It's really difficult to fill that, even if you cork it, you know. We've now got our template. We don't need to leave the room anymore. I've got my mitres done for the mitres, so we can stay in the room now and we can fix it round. The first thing to do is I'm going to do the long wall underneath the window. So as you come into the room, the scribe on either side is hiding any joint. So I started by going around the room measuring all the pieces and writing on the wall where the skirting is, what each one is. What I tend to do is overcut these or undercut these sometimes so they don't catch all that fat at the bottom of the wall. But the top wants to be the exact right length between the plaster. And we give this a little bevel on the back now so the face is tight to allow for that curve in the corner of the plaster, so a little bit of a bevel on the floor. Give it a little pinch in. And we're in. Let me just check the far end. It's all good. Perfect. The walls are nice and flat, they've been well plastered. And the way we're going to fix these is with a panel adhesive again. There are various ways of doing it. You can screw and plug, but MDF's a bit unforgiving. Decorators then go around with a 2-pack filler, and sometimes that 2-pack filler shrinks and in a year or two's time you see a little ring. So the more panel adhesive that you can use is probably advisable. Now these walls are dot and dabbed, and behind them are thermalite blocks. So what I'm going to do is again use a set and fix pinner as well as this pink grip material. What I'm going to do with my pins is just give them a slight angle so they're like a dovetail effectively, and it's because they would simply pull out of the blockwork. You want to be quite quick with this stuff because it skins. So and then you want to get it whacked back as quick as you can. I'm only using a pin which is going to go through the skirting and just through the plasterboard, and the reason for that is because you've got electric cables running up underneath sockets. Now the regulations sort of say that you should be directly up under a socket, but I would say you need to be allowing a good bit either side, because sometimes they'll travel up and in, up there. Also, you've got to ask someone, is there any pipe work here? Is there any radiator pipes, or is there any other pipes that have been hidden in walls? So 2 reasons for using the short pin is so we don't go right through that plasterboard and smash straight into a pipe or a cable, because that's disastrous, and I've done it. When you put a bit of board against a plastered wall, it may not be sitting dead flat and square. So when you button your next length of skirting into it, you may find like this one, that the bottom is sitting out and the top isn't. So I'm actually going to cut my scribe out square to suit that. So I do that by cutting a bit of skirting. So this is going to be long, just slightly. I'm going to pinch it in like that, using that extra bit of length to hold it in. Also that pushes the other one back and it's held it nice and square. So I now know, because I've got a lot from there to trim off the other end, I can mark my scribe there. There we have it, that's what I'm cutting out. That's going to fit over perfectly. I'm overcutting it slightly so the face is tight. There we go. And what's nice is as well, when you cut a mitre and put a scribe on, you haven't got a clear line, you've just got the shoulder for it. I've got a clear line here, and then we whack that out with a coating saw. You see me holding a bit of batten here, because pencil round is unforgiving, because you're cutting to nothing basically. And by having that there, I can use that as a bit of strength. Get really thin now, feathering off to nothing. And there we go. It's preserved that end. Being careful not to cram the end too much, because it's got a point on it obviously. Pinch it in at this end. That's it. push it up with the scribe template. And there you have it. Just put a little block on that. And there you have a scribe, an internal scribe. Careful, quick, so it doesn't skin, that's it. Same again, pop it in there. I can see that needs a scribe, this one, on the angle. Same again, template, mark it up. Really sharp pencil, it's got to be sharp. You can actually see that that's out of square to suit the wall. If I offer that on there. That's square, and that's what we're scribing to. It's why it's called a scribe. You look at that, look, you're actually really back at the hair now. How satisfying is that? What I'm going to do, cut a dead square cut, because I know my architrave is plumb. I just put that in, so I know this will be square, because Roger's floor is level that he built here. So now, I'm doing this with a very slight backing bevel on it, so the face is tight to the architrave, but not too much, so I want to put a bit of glue in there. Come around and catch the top of the moulding before you cut right through. It's a little on the long side, I'm going to trim it back to go in here. So let's just work that out now. Pop it upside down, mark the length. I'm going to take it to there. This time I don't need a backing bevel on it, I just need to keep it square. Okay, there we go. We'll let that sit there for a minute while we do this bit. So we're actually going to put this together, dry, and then we'll get it all fixed up together. I'm checking how far back to the mitre. It's perfect. Take the pencil line out. Scribe template over the top. Cut the pencil line out. Bang, 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 bang. Same there. We know that will go on the front. And we'll put all that together on the box. The box will be able to come in and out. One and two, swap the saw around for the other one. Different hand. Tighten it back up. Check it straight and it's perfect. Batten. And this one will go on here. Now. We'll glue these pieces together, and then this is the trickier bit. Okay, activator. Glue. Precision. Perfection. So that will fit over that little box there.
Amazing. That's the part from the pillow.
I made you a little box.
A little box.
You've lifted it out.
Oh, because you need access.
Just lift it out. But lift the whole thing. Look at this little box. So we just had some plywood outside, some scraps, and the idea is you make it all up as one, and it just sits in there over the top. And they're going to have some furniture fitted over here as well, so it's purely just to isolate that pipe. So there we have it. We've just fitted the architrave and the skirting. We're using an MDF product, and I showed you how to cut it, how to make a scribe template. These are all simple stuff, and this has enabled us to do all the work in the room. So until next time, we're going to be doing some door hanging, so we'll do a little bit of a video on that. But in the meantime, thanks so much for subscribing. So keep us growing, share us with your friends and other people at work, etc. And in the meantime, thank you very much.
Is that so you can hang off the building?
Yeah, no, when I'm lifting a steel column with a strap, instead of strapping it, I'll drill through the beam and we'll put that on. The only thing you'll be careful of is that everything's rated, so if you're lifting something and it's too heavy, you need 2 eyes, for example.
You've got a mag drill, haven't you?
Yeah, I got mag drill, yeah, I use it all the time.